Hello everybody, it is Tuesday and you are cooking in the kitchen with Evey. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making a wonderful vinaigrette. It's a salad, a slaw, carrot chickpea slaw with a citrus ginger vinaigrette. Looking forward to showing you this. This is a nice bright flavor to it. It's hearty enough because it has the chickpeas in it to make it as a meal in and of itself. But it can also be used as a side dish, and if you wanted to add your own protein to it, such as a tofu or a chicken, it tastes delicious for that as well. So to get started, we're going to start with our vinaigrette. And to do this, we're going to use an orange and a lemon. That's the citrus part of the vinaigrette. We have some Dijon mustard as well. You can use olive oil. I'm actually going to be using avocado oil here because that's what I had in my kitchen, and I love the kind of creamy flavor that the avocado oil has. So to get started, what I want to do is I want to get about 3 tablespoons of juice out of my orange. But before I do that, I would like to zest it. So I have a wonderful zester here that I like to use, planer that I like to use. And I'm going to aim for maybe about a teaspoon and a half of zest from the outside of the orange before I juice it. I'm actually going to juice half of the orange, which should give me about 3 tablespoons of juice. And I want to use a ratio of about 2 to 1 orange juice to the lemon juice. That looks good. And I'm just going to leave that zest in my bowl for now. And add in the the orange juice to that. Now I left my orange out of the refrigerator so that it's been warmed up. If you have a warm orange or citrus, you'll get more juice out of it. If it's been in the refrigerator, you could even zap it in the microwave for 15 seconds just to warm it up. That will help. Since I don't have a juicer that is big enough to fit this orange, as you can see here, I am going to go old style here. And this is kind of helpful too for those of you who don't have all these gadgets in your kitchen. It's kind of nice to know you can do things manually and it works out just as well. So what I'm going to do is, this is a seedless orange. It's actually a navel orange. And I am just going to poke the orange to start releasing those juices. And you can see how juicy it is. It's already releasing a lot of those juices. And I'm not even going to measure the amount of juice that I get from this. I'm going to assume that I have about 3 tablespoons. You can see there's a lot of juice in this. And what I do is I like to just wiggle the fork around as I'm squeezing, just to liberate more of those juices. If some of the pulp falls in, that's fine too. Little bonus. All right, there you have it. All right. So I am actually going to save that rind, and I'm going to use it down the disposal because citrus down the disposal helps clean out the system. So if you ever had a smelly disposal, just throw half a lemon or half an orange down there. All right. So I now have my lemon. And since I do want about half the amount of lemon that I did the orange, I'm just going to squeeze it into a separate bowl for now. You don't have to if you don't want to. The other thing I might do is, I see a couple of seeds here. I'm just going to throw those seeds out. So I have my lemon here. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the orange. Just poke it. All right. And I do have my juicer here that I'm going to use. There is a seed in it. Let me just, from an earlier project today. And I am just going to squeeze out that lemon. and get the juice from that. And then I'm going to measure in about 1.5 tablespoons of my lemon juice. So I have 1 and about 1/2. Actually, I just used a tablespoon measurement and just kind of estimated that 1/2. And it should be just fine. So now I have my mixture of my citrus juices and my zest. I'm going to add them into a small mason jar. This is a pint-sized jar. And you can see here how much I have. All right, let me just clean up my cutting board here a little bit. There we go. Now, it's a citrus ginger vinaigrette, so I want to be adding some fresh ginger. So let me just reclaim that bowl that I just used. And I have about 1 inch long piece of ginger here that I have peeled. I'll show you a really easy way to peel ginger. If you have a spoon, you use the spoon instead of a peeler, and the skin will come right off. The fresher the ginger, the easier it is to do this. But you can see how the ginger has just, the covering of the ginger just comes right off. Let me just show you what we've got here. There you go. Isn't that something? Real easy. So I now have my peeled ginger. I'm going to use that same planer that I had. And I should have about 1.5 teaspoons when I'm done. Now, if you don't have fresh ginger, that's fine. Feel free to use a powdered ginger. I have a wonderful ginger here that I've used earlier for my ginger recipe. When I was testing this recipe, that I got as a gift from a friend of mine. Very grateful for that. It is a delicious powdered ginger. So let me just give this a little bit more. And again, the nice thing about making your own foods is if you like ginger, and ginger is so good for you. It's antimicrobial, helps with digestion, helps the immune system. But if you like that ginger, you can add more. If you're not keen on it, if it's a little bit too pungent for you, then use a little bit less. All right. There we go. All right. So let's see how much we have here. Okay. Yep. I would say we have about 1.5 teaspoons here. This is a 1/2 teaspoon measure. All right. So I've added my citrus now and my ginger. I want to balance that. I'm going to add a little bit of more acidity with some white wine vinegar. 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar. And then I'm going to balance that with my oil, about 3 tablespoons of my oil. And again, I said I'm using avocado oil, but extra virgin olive oil is delicious for this as well. All right. Almost done. Not quite. I want to add in some Dijon mustard. I love to add in Dijon mustard because that serves not only to flavor it, but as an emulsifier as well. The emulsifier helps keep the liquids and the oils mixed together so that they don't separate as quickly. And I'm going to add in about 1/2 teaspoon of the Dijon mustard. All right. So we'll see. I may want to come back and add a little bit more of that Dijon. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to taste it. To that, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I have some pink Himalayan salt here that I like to use. And I will add in about 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground pepper, black pepper. There we go. And I think I have all my ingredients now. Now, I like it just like this, and we're going to be adding it to the slaw, which will have some sweetness to it because of the carrots and also raisins that are in it. So I'm not going to add any other sweetener to this. Now, sometimes you'll see a citrus vinaigrette adding a sweetener. If you'd like to add a little bit of a sweetener, you can do that. Honey would be a good option. I would start with very little so that you don't add too much sugar. Let me just taste this now and see if I want to add more of that Dijon mustard. I think I'm going to leave it just as it is right now. I kind of like that. That's good. And I'm just going to set this aside. And you can see this is the easy way to mix up a vinaigrette, right? Now, you could put it in a bowl and whisk it. If you do that, you usually would like to add the oil gradually so you don't add too much too soon, and that helps to keep it mixed together. All right, so we now have our vinaigrette all made up. Now it's time to assemble the salad components. Let me grab a bowl. All right. And I'm going to shred my carrots today using a food processor. If you do not have a food processor, just like I didn't have that juicer for my lemon, for my orange, you can always go old school and manually do it using a box grater. Okay? But it's so much quicker and easier if you have one of these. Let me just move my bowl out of the way for a minute. I am going to shred about a pound of carrots, which comes to about 4 large carrots, maybe if you have smaller carrots, 6 smaller carrots. But I am going to make the carrot about the length of my shoot here so I can lay them sideways so I get nice long shreds. I like them that way. So, let's see. I could even make them longer than that, but that's good. And as you can see, I am just cutting across all of the carrots, well, almost all the carrots at once. And I'm just going to layer them in to my shoot. So I don't have to keep going in. I don't have to. Let's see if I can do that. All right, let's see how that goes. Let's turn on. All right. Okay. Oh, I didn't have it closed. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, and I just have these 2 little ones left. Okay. So I always seem to have these little ends left. Normally what I would do is just go in and cut them by hand, just to finish up so nothing's wasted. And I can show you just how I might do that. I just kind of go along this way and then just take them and slice them this way, just to slice everything up. You don't have to do that. In fact, if you save your ends for stews or for broth, you can put these in the freezer and have that then for making the base of your broth, a vegetable broth. Those might be a little bit thicker than what I might want in my salad, but for now, they're fine. Here, let me show you what we have. There you go. That is a great slaw. All right, beautiful. Let me just put these things to the side. Okay. It's a little crowded in here with all these different ingredients. All right. So now we have our slaw. Our machine to the side. Isn't that beautiful? It's going to look even better. Okay, so we have our carrots now. Now we want to add in our chickpeas. So I have 1 can of organic chickpeas here that I'm just going to rinse, drain and rinse. I'm just going to let them sit here a minute so that they can drain a little bit more. The drier they are, the better, because they'll take in the dressing better if they're dry. I'm just going to let those sit a minute. And while that's happening, I'm going to measure out my raisins. Now I want to put in, probably about a 1/2 cup of raisins. As you can see, this is a nice sweet base for a salad, which is why that vinaigrette did not need that extra sweetening. Keep that in mind when you're making your dressings. Keep in mind what is going on so you can keep that sweetness balance so it doesn't get overly sweet. So I have about a 1/2 cup here. Adding in. And I want to add in some cilantro. So this is the way I like to store my cilantro. This cilantro actually is about a week old. But if you put it in a glass with water, I cut the ends off before I put it in the water. And then I just put a piece of plastic, the bag that it came in from the grocery store, down around the top and stick it in the refrigerator. It will stay much longer. And I knew I had this cilantro, so that's part of the reason why I said, oh, this is going to be a great dish to use up my cilantro. So I am just chopping what I have left of my cilantro, which will probably be about a 1/2 cup of chopped greens. If you like, you can add in the stems. The stems have a lot of flavor to them as well. I tend to just like the leaf of the plant for this. If you're cooking, you can put them in, like, again, if you're making a broth where you want the cilantro flavor, you can add that. Once you cook cilantro, it gets a little bit milder too. All right. I have my cilantro added in. I'm just going to give that a little bit of a toss. Grab my salad tongs here. I'm just going to toss that up. Boy, I guess I could have used almost even a bigger bowl. But what I want to do is I want to start getting these things evenly distributed before I add in the chickpeas and before I add in the dressing. Did you see that? Hold on. Luckily, it's just on top of my directions here. You never know what you're going to see on the show, right? All right. So I have my carrots now and my raisins and cilantro nicely tossed. Let me add in those chickpeas. Remember, I was holding them off to the side just so they could drip a little bit, dry out a little bit more. All right. Just give that a good toss. Getting a little messy here. There we go. All right, so we now have that nicely tossed. Let me show you what we have so far before I add the dressing in. There you go. All right, now I made up this dressing. I don't know if I want all of it, which is great because you can save some for the next time that you make a salad, because this will taste great on any salad. Just double check my ingredients. I added in my 1 pound of carrots, 1 can of chickpeas. I added in a 1/2 cup of raisins and probably about a 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro. I added in, what I did not add in yet were my almonds. Okay, glad I checked. I want to add in about another quarter cup or so. I'm just going to estimate here. About a quarter cup of toasted slivered almonds. If you have sliced almonds, that works well. You can toast them up in a skillet before you toss them in. That always adds a little bit of depth of flavor to them. I always love them when they're toasted like that. All right. All right. And now I'm going to start with adding in about half of my dressing. And what's nice about this dish is this type of salad keeps really well in the refrigerator, and the flavors, that gives the flavors time to really meld, really blend, and almost the longer it's in there, the better the flavors become. All right. Oh, wow, that looks good. All right, and let's see. All right. Now, here we go. That is our finished dish. I'm going to just give it a little bit of a taste. See if we want to add anything into it before I plate it out. I'm going to add a little bit more of my dressing to ump up the flavor a little bit. And I might even add, you know what? I'm just going to add at the end a pinch of my Dijon. Just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit more zing. So maybe in the original recipe, rather than a half teaspoon of Dijon, maybe I'd add a teaspoon of Dijon. Just to get that nice, kind of crisp. I'm trying to think of how to describe that mustard flavor. All right. Okay. So we now have our slaw all made up. If you're ready to serve it right away, I have a little bowl here to serve it up into. Now, if I hadn't used up all my cilantro, I could put a little garnish of cilantro on there. Another thing that might be nice as a garnish is some scallions, just to put a little sprinkle of spring onions there on top. But if you really want to dress it up, a sprinkle of some feta cheese on top is wonderful. Now let me grab a spoon. And that'll add a little bit of zing as well. There you have it. All right. So I hope you get to try this. I can't wait to dig into it after the show. But I hope you enjoyed the cooking show. If you have any questions, by all means, just put a comment in the comment section or IM me, and I will give you the answer that I know best, right? And if you have any suggestions for any recipes that you'd like to see in the future, please just IM me, send them off to me as well. If there's a recipe that you have where there's an ingredient or you want to try to make it healthy, more anti-inflammatory, send that along to me as well. All right. So in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week for Cooking with Evey. Take care. Bye-bye for now.